In this video, we will take a look at variables and data types. Variables are an absolute fundamental part of programming and an easy concept to understand. So let's get straight into it. What is a variable? A variable is a way of storing a value, and you can see it as a container which holds that information. And then we can use these variables that hold values in our Python scripts. And technically speaking, it's a reserved memory location for that value. And the way we write a variable is, by the way, in this demo, I'm using idle, which is Python's default application for writing Python scripts. I'm going to put hash here to state that the first line is a comment, but a variable equals a value, such as, well, let's go with age, and let's go with age equals 25. Now to print this, we type print, which is a function which I'll get to later on in the videos, and then open bracket age, which is our variable, close bracket. To print it, I would save this file and then go to run module, and the result has popped up on my other screen, which I can drag across, and now we can see it's printed out the value of 25. And the print is actually a function which we will take a look at later, but its job is to print something to the screen. And what we want to print is inside the open and the closed brackets here, age. The name of the variable is like a label, and then we will assign the label to a value. And wherever we use the label, Python will assign the value of the label. Now this value of 25 is a number, a numeric value, and to be precise, it's an integer value. But there's more data types, and that's what we will cover off now. And here are a few of the different types of data types we're able to use with our variables. And the first one is a string called myString. String variables are used to store sequences of characters such as words or phrases, text data such as names, addresses, or any other type of text. A string is one or more characters, and you put a string inside of quotes, as we have done here. So we've got the double quotes to open the string and double quotes at the end to close the string. And a string can have letters, numbers, or special characters inside of these quotes. And by the way, quotes can be double or single quotes. And an example of why you would use double quotes is if you're using single quotes within the string itself, as we have done right here. For example, I wanted to use an apostrophe or quote to form a possessive noun, so when it belongs to someone, such as this is Chaffer's string 12345 exclamation mark, and we can see I've used the apostrophe as part of my name over here. So often programmers use single quotes, but in this case you can use double quotes instead to open and close the string. There are more rules about quotes, but that's the basics of it. The next two are numeric values. My integer equals 25 and my underscore float equals 1.5. So you may know these as numbers or numeric types. And with numbers, you don't need quotes. You can assign numeric values to variables without the quotes. Because if you put them inside quotes, then that would be classed as a string, and you would not be able to perform maths on a string. Well, actually, you can perform maths on strings, but you would get a different type of output than the one you was hoping for, which I will demo shortly. So if we actually need Python to read the actual numbers, the numeric values, and use it to calculate something as a numeric value, then we would need the numeric value to be identified as a numeric value, a number, and not a string. So no quotes needed here. And we can break numeric values into multiple types. We've got two types over here, which is the integer, which is a whole number, and then we have a float. And this is a decimal value, such as 1.5. Next, we have Boolean. And Boolean values are either true or false and can be assigned to a variable as well. And notice the true statement with Boolean as well as a false statement has to be capitalized, or else it would produce an error. And Boolean is usually used if a certain condition is either true or false. Let's have a quick demonstration of Boolean values from the interactive Python shell. We have the interactive idle shell in front of us. If we do 5 is greater than 4, we can see the result is true. 5 equals 4, and we can see the result again is false. 5 equals 5. And we can see the Boolean result again is true. And later on in the video series, I have an if then else statement video which explains Boolean values in a bit more depth. Next, we have collections. There are 4 data types or collection types that are used to store collections of data, which are these over here, which means the storing of multiple items. And these are list, tuple, set, and dictionary. And lists are created by using square brackets, and they are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. By ordered, it means that the items have a defined order, and that order will not change. So the order of these items inside this list will not change. And if we add new items to this list, the new items will be placed at the end of the list. By changeable, it means we are able to change, add, and remove items in a list after it has been created. So we can do that with lists. And by allowing duplicate values, it allows the duplicate values. And this is because lists are indexed. And here we can see the value London has been created twice, just to prove it allows for duplicate values. And we will test all this in our Python application very shortly. Tuples are written with round brackets, and tuples are ordered, unchangeable, so we cannot change, add or remove items after the tuple has been created. And tuples also allow duplicate values. And we can see, like lists, tuples can be of any data type, such as an integer, a float, and some string values here as well. Sets are written with these curly brackets, and they are unordered, unchangeable, and unindexed, and they do not allow duplicate values, so they are the most restrictive. With unchangeable, it means although you cannot change items, you can however add and remove new items. And the last one is dictionary, and dictionary is also created using the curly brackets as well, like the set. And they consist of key value pairs. So we can see the key, city, and the value of London. We can see these right across the dictionary. And dictionaries are ordered with a caveat. Prior to Python 3.7, they were not ordered, but since 3.7 and later versions, they are now ordered. And dictionaries are changeable, but do not allow duplicates. So they cannot have 2 items with the same key. And the values in a dictionary item can be of any data type as well, such as integers, strings, booleans, and even a list itself. So we can see a list here defined within the dictionary. So you can have a list inside a dictionary, as we can see over here. And just to summarize these collection types again, with list variables, they're used to store sequences of values, such as a list of names or numbers. They can be modified by adding or removing items. Tuple variables are similar to list variables, but they are immutable, meaning they cannot be modified once they are created. Set variables are used to store unique collections of items. They are similar to lists, but do not allow duplicates. And dictionaries. Dictionary variables are used to store key value pairs. They are often used to represent data with a unique identifier or key, such as a person's name or an ID number. And it would be good to print all of this out. So what we can do is copy all of this code and print it out into our idle Python script to see the results. Now what we have here is our code. So it's the same code we just had a look at on the PowerPoint. But I've also added all of the print statements to print our code to the idle shell on the right hand side here. I've got a few extra as well. So I've got print hello. So this will literally print out the string hello, so it's not referring to a variable. And down here I have another 3 print functions. This print function has a function called length. It will specifically tell me the length of my tuple. And the next one down will tell me the type of variable I'm using. So in this example, I'm asking what type of variable is my set variable. It should be set. And the third one down is querying what the type is for my float variable, which should be float. The print function here is specifically printing out the value of city. So this is the key, and I'm requesting it to print out the value of city, which should be London, in my dictionary key value pair. We can see city over here, and London is the value. And finally, the last 2 are arithmetic operations. We are performing on 2 different data types. The first is on an integer, my integer times 3. So this should be 25 times 3, which is 75. And the second one is on a string, just to prove that you can do arithmetic operations on strings as well. And we should see the results for both of these as well. Let's run the file, run module, and on the right hand side we can see the results over here. So I've printed the hello string as indicated here. That's the first one. And then I've printed my string variable. This is Jaffa string 1 2 3 4 5 exclamation mark. I've printed out the integer and then the float. Next, the boolean value of true. And then these are my collection variables. We can see the first one, which is my list. Following on from that is my tuple. Then there is my set, and here is my dictionary. Next, I was asking for the length of my tuple, which is a function, which is the function length. And we can see it says 6 here. So if we count my tuple, we can see it's got six values. 1 2 3 4 5 6. And the next two, I was asking for the types, the data types used. One was of type set, and the next one is of type float. So we can confirm how Python has interpreted these data types. To make sure Python has interpreted them correctly, then it's pulling out the key, city, and the value for it, which is London. We can see over here, London. And the next two are arithmetic operations. So my integer times 3, which is 25 times 3 is 75. And then my string times 2. So it's printed out my string twice as well over here. And that's it for this video. That's a high level overview of Python variables and some of the different data types we can use with variables.